Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this talk on the introduction to ChatGPT. I'll dive straight into it because there's a lot of things we need to cover. We have to cover this afternoon. Okay, you have probably heard of ChatGPT over the last 2 months because it only came into view around the world sometime in March 2023. That's 2 months ago. So even in that short time span, the original release of ChatGPT 3.5 was in November, the end of November 20th, 2022. That's about 6 months ago. It took 2.5 months, about roughly 2 or 2.5 months, to hit 100 million users. Compared to the telephone, the mobile phone, and some other technology and devices, you notice that it's the fastest growing product in the world in history. Nothing has grown so fast as this generative AI software called ChatGPT. So if you look at the numbers here, the number of people logging on into the OpenAI, the company OpenAI's website to access ChatGPT, it hit 1,000 million users by February, mid-February 2023. That's just a few months ago. How smart is ChatGPT? It's very smart. It's passing all the tests. The two colored bars, green and blue, because it's 3.5 and version 4. Version 4 of ChatGPT performs better than 3.5, but you probably have access to 3.5. This afternoon, I will show you using ChatGPT 3.5, and also hopefully we'll have time to go to version 4 and some of the newer features. So it is passing all the exams or the tests in the US. It's the graduate record exams, the advanced placement exams, the law exams, and even medical exams. It's passing with flying colors. In fact, for medical exams, the US medical licensing exams, what happened is that it has passed this test at over 80%, close to 89%. The passing mark there, I believe, is 60 or 70%. So it's better than most doctors. As a general tool, ChatGPT is passing exams with flying colors. We expect ChatGPT 4.2 probably sometime this year later, and ChatGPT 5, version 5, is expected, according to the CEO, Sam Altman of OpenAI, be sometime middle or end of 2024, which is next year. It looks like a lot of jobs are going to be impacted, according to Business Insider in April. They listed a number of jobs that will be immediately impacted by this software. Technical jobs that have people to do coding and programming, those in the media with advertising and creating content, in legal. In fact, you see an example of legals or lawyers using it and getting into trouble, actually. And then market research analysts, teachers are using it already today. In schools, primary, secondary, and even all the way up to university, I know that people are using ChatGPT. It will affect finance, traders, graphic designers, accountants, and all forms of customer service agents. Anything to do with text, anything that all you can convert into text, meaning English text, meaning language, English words, this will probably have some impact. In the latest news in the last few weeks only, Samsung itself, you can see here Samsung. Some of the staff at Samsung actually used ChatGPT to test their code. They actually cut their code, their programming code, and then asked ChatGPT to debug, to help them to correct the code and then to run it. Unfortunately, that violated the Samsung's internal privacy rules. The data actually got out and went out into the open, went to OpenAI, and I think the people there were fired. Also, additionally, there was a second incident where some of the Samsung staff actually put some of their reports, their confidential company reports into ChatGPT and inadvertently released it to the world, as it were. So they were all, I believe, if I'm not wrong, they were all fired. Also, the godfather of AI, Geoffrey Hinton, recently retired from Google. He's come out to speak up about the dangers of AI and warning about the potential threat to humanity. I can speak about this threat to humanity for at least half an hour to 1 hour. It's a long talk. Even Warren Buffett has come out to compare this new movement in ChatGPT and AI or artificial intelligence, comparing to the discovery or the creation of the atom bomb. And in China, you see that even in China, there has been recently a case where somebody was arrested because they used ChatGPT. This is one of the latest news. I think it was last week or the week before last, and that the CEO of OpenAI, Sam Altman, went to speak to the US Congress about generative AI and is released to the world. And some of the issues he spoke about with them, it was a 3-hour talk, 2 to 3 hours. They spoke about employment. What's the impact of this ChatGPT to employment? People going to lose jobs? Which areas? The problem of misinformation, because they are very sensitive about, especially election information. Intellectual property rights. Who owns the information that is generated by ChatGPT? This has not been resolved as yet, but tentatively, as far as OpenAI is concerned, the information that you generate using ChatGPT belongs to you. There are some issues with privacy. Please do not use ChatGPT for private information because it may actually go out into the web and into other people. Other people may be able to get it. There are ways of preventing OpenAI sharing your information, but those are some techniques and some points that you need to be aware of. So they spoke about safety and also bias and even discrimination. And there's a case of a lawyer who actually used ChatGPT for one of his cases, and he presented it to the judge, and the judge threw it back. The problem is he didn't use I believe his issue is two. He has two issues. First, he did not have clear knowledge of the ChatGPT, specifically ChatGPT prompting techniques, how to prompt it so that you get the correct answer and something that you can rely upon. And secondly, once the answer comes back from ChatGPT, you must use something called evaluative judgment. You must be able to judge that output that you get from ChatGPT and to determine its relevance, correctness, accuracy, and validity. So these are the two areas that I believe this lawyer missed out. And I believe strongly that he could have been helped by knowing a little bit about what ChatGPT is, and specifically about prompting techniques, which we have in the two-day course that we are arranging, scheduling. At the end, you get the details of this class. Last night, a few hours ago, when I woke up, this news came up that the statement on AI risk, a series of people, a number of people actually said to sign this document. 30, 40 people signed this document called the Statement on AI Risk. It includes Sam Altman, this the person on the top right-hand side, Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, the creator of, or the company that owns ChatGPT. This is Hassan Bies, I think, the CEO of Google DeepMind. And on the bottom right-hand side is Geoffrey Hinton and Joshua Bison. I think both of them are AI specialists. They are the winner of the Turing Award, and Geoffrey Hinton is known as the grandfather of AI. On the left at the bottom is Elias Suskever, the chief scientist of OpenAI. He is the one responsible for ChatGPT, the technical effects. And over on the far left-hand side is the CEO of another AI firm. I forgot the name. Is another one AI firm that's sort of like a competitor to ChatGPT. So there's a whole bunch of people, including a lot of AI scientists from China, who signed this statement on AI risk. And you can find this on the Safety in AI website in www.safe.ai, and you can go have a look at it. It was released just a few hours ago on the 31st of May, so you see that the data, it's very, very new. Over the last month or so, the information and the things regarding AI has flooded all our news. It has impacted all our lives because it seems to be everywhere. Everywhere you look, AI. So this afternoon, very quickly, I have about 45 minutes or so, 40 minutes left. I want to speak about 3 things. First, I would like to explain what ChatGPT is, just a very brief introduction. Secondly, we will demonstrate with some examples. I will go online live to show you, and then we'll take some questions and answers at the end. The moderator is reading the questions that you ask. She will collect it and then will show me the questions that you ask. I think you can probably post it in Slido, and then I will get to see them at the end. Okay, let's move on to the actual meat of this talk this afternoon. First, the whole idea, my aim is to give you an insight, an intuition about AI and what is called generative AI, not just AI, but specifically something called generative AI. And the reason for this is so that you can make better decisions regarding this area. It's not to make you an expert in it, but to give you sort of an idea. When I say you have a sort of an insight, it's like a intuition is more like a feeling. So you don't have the exact facts, but you can get the feeling and understanding so that you may make decisions regarding AI. Now, artificial intelligence is what we're going to talk about this afternoon, and we're going to be focusing on ChatGPT. Basically, this modality we are going to speak upon on text only, not image, not audio, video. So it's basically text-based, because ChatGPT is basically text-based. They do have a little bit image capability, but we don't have yet access to it. Okay, so what is ChatGPT? Let me break down this word ChatGPT into 4 parts. Chatbot, generative, pre-trained, transformer. That's what GPT stands for. It stands for a chatbot that is a generative, pre-trained, transformer. And we're going to see what each of these words mean. First, a chatbot. A chatbot is a program, a computer program that uses artificial intelligence and natural language processing to respond to questions. You interact with the chatbot by asking questions, and then it gives you answers just like a human being. So it simulates a human conversation between 2 persons. The original chatbot was Eliza, a psychotherapist way back in the 1980s. And then for around about 40 years, nothing happened. Everything stayed peaceful and quiet. And then something happened in 2017. A paper came out regarding a technique in AI called transformers. And from 2017 to 2022 December, they were working using this natural language processing model and model called transformers. And they released it as ChatGPT 3.5 in December 2022. Generative is called a generative AI because this model, this large language model, what it does is it does what's called next word prediction, meaning you give it a sentence, the sky is, then it will try to complete the sentence. The sky is blue, the sky is gray, the sky is very, and then you continue, very dark today. So it's a next word prediction tool. That's why it's called generative AI. It's also called completion tool because it tries to complete the text. So you give it a particular text or a number of words, and then what it does, it tries to complete it. So you give it a sentence like, here is my dog, and then it tries to complete the sentence. It tries to predict what's the next word, what's the next word, what's the next word. And then it does this by looking at the data that it has and trying to predict based on probability. What you see is probabilities there. It's probabilistic model. This AI or artificial intelligence is based on neural networks. Neural networks are how we believe the brain works. It sends electrical signals from neuron to neuron. So this AI, these neural networks, it simulates the brain and that's what's called machine learning, and works on the learning algorithms or rules or formulas. So that is what it is in what we call artificial intelligence. That's generative AI. Now we see what is pre-training. There are two types of training that the model has before it's released to you to use. One is called supervised fine-tuning. This supervised fine-tuning is once the model has all the data, it is taught through supervision, and then what it does is given a set of completions and gives a number of possible answers, A, B, C, D, and then the human being picks the correct answer. So in picking the answer, it teaches the model, the machine, which is the more human-like answer. And then after that, there's reinforcement learning from human feedback, and is used to strengthen the correct answers by introducing what we call a reward model. So you use a reward model, meaning if the answer is the machine answers correctly, is rewarded, is given a reward. And if it answers correctly, is not given the reward, is less or there's no reward. So these two forms of training of the model, supervised fine-tuning and RLHF, reinforcement learning from human feedback, is done to the machine before it's released to you. In fact, you may be able to influence if you have your own LLM or large language model. You might have to use this, the RLHF, to customize it to a particular group. Transformer model. What is this transformer model that appeared in, I mentioned, 2017? It's a special type of deep learning model that has ideas of what's called self-attention. It has the ability to look at the sentence and weigh the different words differently with what's called weightage. So by putting certain weights on the words in a sentence, it gives a particular significance to each part of the input sentence or data in natural language processing. And by using this process, it generates the next word and the next word and the next word until it gets a whole paragraph or a few pages, or until there's a few books, or until it stops. So that's what is a ChatGPT. It's a chatbot. It is generative. It uses generative AI. It is pre-trained. There are two types of training. And then it is a transformer model. It uses a transformer. This is how ChatGPT works. If you look at the top center portion, you see pre-training. The pre-training part, it consists of, on the left-hand side, top left-hand side, you see training corpus of data that's used to feed into the large language model. The LLM or large language model is the transformer model. And this corpus of data is all the information on the web until 2021. What they did was they took all the information from the internet, from the web, and then fed it to the large language model. So there's the first input from the top left to the center part of the large language model. Then on the right-hand side, there's the two types of training, the fine-tuning, the supervised fine-tuning, and the RLHF, the reinforcement learning by human feedback. Sorry, wrong spelling here, RLHF by humans. And then the model is used inside part of ChatGPT. And what you do is when you talk to it, you input what we call an input prompt. And you do what's called prompting. You write your input, it's called a prompt. So you write a prompt to ChatGPT that has gone through this training and ingested this corpus of data, and then it outputs the response. On the right-hand side, there are two other ways to communicate with ChatGPT. With GPT 4.0 and above, they have allowed plugins. If you pay $20 per month and subscribe to OpenAI, you will get access to ChatGPT 4.0, and that will allow you to do plugins. At the moment, they have over 70 different plugins. If we have the time, I'll try to show you one or two plugins later on in the demo itself. Also, on the right-hand side is another way of assessing ChatGPT for companies that want to interact with it in a business way. They can write a program, usually in Python, and then using the APIs or application programming interfaces provided by OpenAI, you can get this, and then you have to pay for it. It's not free. They count by the number of tokens. It depends upon the number of tokens or the number of words that you pass to ChatGPT and the answers that you get back. So another way of communicating with ChatGPT is through programs that somebody may write, as in Python, through the API on the right-hand side, the top, on the right-hand side, all the way to ChatGPT. But we will mainly be speaking to ChatGPT based on the input prompts, and from input prompts, well, you can just simply start talking. But if you understand a little bit about how it functions, how it works, and use some of the techniques in prompt engineering, you get much better results, and also avoid maybe going to jail. Because if like some of those people that I showed you just now in Samsung, or in the lawyer that used ChatGPT, it didn't understand how ChatGPT functions or works, and didn't apply any of the prompting engineering techniques, unfortunately got into trouble. So this is kind of a quick overview of how ChatGPT functions. The important lesson is you can trust it, but please verify. Trust, but verify. Please check. And also, because you can use this as a tool that you can use for good or you can use for evil. So it's just a tool. So my point to you is, please use it responsibly. Please use it responsibly. Meaning, don't use it for, well, evil, illegal purposes. There are ways you can use it to, for example, to create scams or phishing, or you can create even cybersecurity or loopholes in other parts. So you can use it for good, or you can use it for evil as well. Also, I suggest you use what's called evaluative judgment. You are the final arbiter or the judge of the output of the data that it gives to you. Although you may use it for learning purposes, but if you use it for work, please make sure you at least have some knowledge in the area that you're trying to use it in, so that you can have evaluative judgment, ability to tell whether the answer is correct, right, and valid or not. So you still need human beings. For the time being, we still need human beings, at least for the next few years. Some of the simple tasks that ChatGPT as a generative AI can perform, the standard tasks like summarizing of text, I'll show you in a while, generating text, responding to emails, and classifying content, meaning looking at the content and then telling you what sort of feelings or sentiment the text may have. Or you can take all the feedback, let's say from your website or from your blog, and then feed it and say, okay, what sort of feelings do the users express? Are they angry? Are they happy? That sort of thing. It can classify text. It can also answer questions based on text, and of course, it can do translation. In the two-day class that we will conduct, moving on, you'll get details at the end. We will discuss some of the research-based prompting techniques that we don't have time to cover here today. We'll only cover the basics of how ChatGPT functions as a generative AI, and then I'll demo to you. If you need to learn a bit more about the research-based prompting, and as I mentioned before, avoid getting into trouble with ChatGPT, especially at work, I suggest you register for the class, or at least do some more research on this prompting. Here's my contact details. The QR code above will lead you to my LinkedIn profile. I am on LinkedIn as Peter Ong Gek San. That's my LinkedIn profile. You can use the your camera on your phone and get your QR code to go to my LinkedIn profile. Or else you can just look for my name, Peter Ong Gek San. Although my name is a little bit strange to spell. So the 2-day class, you get more information using ChatGPT as a personal assistant and using ChatGPT prompt engineering. Okay, now you go to the live demo. And please do stay behind. We will take a class picture at the end. At the end, they will give you a link for the registration. And then also we need to do a class photo. At the moment, we have slightly over 5,000 people. I think 542 I see here. So let's move on to the actual hands-on. I have to switch to my screen. So give me a sec. Okay. Let me just log in again one more time. And then share my screen again. Okay. This is what you see when you log into ChatGPT. It's very simple outline. You won't get anything on the left side. It will be blank for you. These are all my conversations. And the last few, you notice 1, 2, 3, 4. This I did last night to prepare for this afternoon. So in case we have some trouble, I can always pop over here to show you what I did. So let's just start with by looking at some news item that we have. Okay, what I did was I went to the Straits Times, and we have an article here from the Straits Times. Economists ringgit. It says ringgit may weaken further in Q3. And what I did was make it into text and select the text. Just select all the text. I just sort of select all the text and then copy it. Copy it. I go over to ChatGPT. This is ChatGPT. And okay, I mean, the problem is, hold on, let me get rid of my screen. All right. Okay, this is ChatGPT. It starts off with a nice clean blank screen. When you log in, after you register, registration is free. And then it's very fast. It takes you only 1-2 minutes. You can register and then you log in, give it your user ID and your password. And then you see this screen blank on the left and then nothing at all, just completely blank. You will probably get only one on the left side. You can see GPT 3.5. I have GPT 4 because I'm a paid user. So with 3.5, 3.5, you don't have the other stuff, which includes web access and the plugins. In GPT-4, there are plugins. I'll show you in a while. Okay, let's stay with GPT 3.5. Then I'll just start with act as an editor. And then I say TLDR. And then 1, 2, 3, Control V, Shift. What I'm doing is pasting the text in and then telling ChatGPT to summarize it. So this is the summary. It has responded with a summary. There it is. It's a summary. So it says, economists are warning that the Malaysian ringgit may further weaken against the US dollar in the third quarter of 2023 due to higher global interest rate and so on. So you can see this is the sort of the summary that it gives. Now, you may say, well, you already know how to do this. Let me show you something that you may not know. You can actually ask it to summarize the above in a table and give solutions, because there are some problems with the ringgit value. So how to improve the value is, let's see, you actually have some ideas. Okay, I don't know why it's Okay, never try one more time. Sometimes it's a little create table with summary and solutions. There you go. See, sometimes it's a bit cranky. Once you try it a while, you notice that sometimes it does have little issues and problems along the way. You need to redo it, or what is called regenerate it. So you notice there's a summary and then the solutions it gives. Now, it didn't give the solution, so you can tell it regenerate a response. Just click on the regenerate, you do it again one more time. And there you are. I think there's something wrong with it this afternoon. It's not doing so well, but I say, oh, this is better result. At least it gives one summary and one solution. I was expecting actually a list of issues and a list of solutions, not just one. Okay, so there's something that you can also do. You can ask it to create a table, to answer it in terms of a table. I think you can see your screen. Okay. The other thing that you may not know you can do is you can actually make it sort of talk to two persons, create two personas, two people, and make it talk to each other. So you say, you can tell it an economist and a politician discuss the above and come to a conclusion. And let's see what it does. So it's now giving a conversation between an economist and a politician. So the economist starts off. It says the Malaysian ringgit is facing significant challenges, factors such as higher global interest rates, risk of environment, and so on and so on. And then the politician answers, oh, I understand the concerns regarding the weakening ringgit. As a government, we recognize the importance of addressing these issues promptly. We are committed to developing a clear and comprehensive economic strategy. Then the economist goes on and says, actually, it should go back and forth. But it comes to the conclusion, the economist and politician then agree on the need for a clear and comprehensive economic strategy to address the challenges faced by the ringgit. So you can see that you can actually create personas in ChatGPT and make these personas talk to each other. So you can look at the conversation and have both sides of the picture. Or you can expect not just two sides, you can make 3 sides, 4 sides. I'm not sure what the limit is, but you can make it multiple sort of people in conversation and then make them discuss and come to a conclusion, and then you can see the arguments. So you can even create a debate, for example, and make ChatGPT do this. Another thing that you can make it do is to create an email. What happened is that last Saturday, I was supposed to do some trainings through Zoom. And what happened was last Saturday, during the class, for the class last week, one participant did not receive the invitation. So last Saturday, there was a Zoom class. One participant did not receive the Zoom link and is angry. Write an apology email. Let's see what it says. So it says, dear participant, I hope this email finds you well. I'm writing to address an unfortunate oversight that occurred during last Saturday's Zoom class. It's come to my attention that you did not receive the Zoom class link, and I understand your frustration and disappointment. Please accept my sincere apologies for any inconvenience that this may have caused. As a trainer, I strive to ensure that all participants have equal access and move on. I genuinely apologize for any inconvenience, missed learning opportunities, and go on. And you look at this, it says to make it right, I would like to offer you 2 options. Wow, it came up with 2 options. I didn't tell it to do this, but it came up with it. First, I can provide you with a recording of the class. Good idea. Or so you can catch up on the material covered during the session. Additionally, I'd be more than happy to schedule a one-on-one. Oops, maybe not this one. You want to take this out. You want to schedule a one-on-one session to go over the content and address any question. So ChatGPT was smart enough to come up with these 2 options. I didn't tell it. But it's a good option. It's something actually I would not have thought of, and it kind of prompts me and tells me, Nancy, please let me know which option you'll be more suitable for. Once again, accept my sincere apologies. Thank you. So it's written a nice little email. Done. So another thing that you can do with ChatGPT is to make it explain difficult topics on any idea in your area, whatever area that you may be in. I'm not sure what area you may be in, but I used to be a physicist, or I am a physicist by training. So I'm interested in things like quantum computing. And let's say I don't quite understand what quantum computing. I can ask ChatGPT to explain it to me. Explain quantum computing to me as an adult. So it says quantum computing is rapidly developing. Classical computers commonly used today process and store information using bits. A bit can be in one of 2 states, represented by 0 and 1. On the other hand, the next paragraph, quantum computers utilize quantum bits or qubits as a fundamental unit of information. Unlike classical bits, qubits can exist in a state that represents both 0 and 1 at the same time, simultaneously, thanks to a quantum phenomena called superposition. This means that the qubit can be in multiple states at the same time. So there's a nice little explanation, and you can continue this conversation with ChatGPT to explain more and more details. You pick up the keyword and feed it back and tell it. In case you want to explain it to your 10-year-old child, your daughter or your son that's 10 years old, you can say, explain the above to a 10-year-old. And you see what it comes up with. Sure. Now, quantum computers, okay, are like super-powered computers that use a special kind of switch called a qubit. Unlike regular bits, qubits can be both on and off. Then it goes on. The ability to be in multiple states simultaneously is called superposition. And say another cool thing about qubits is something called entanglement. It means that the qubits can be connected to each other in a special way, so that what happens to one qubit instantly affects another one. So no matter how far apart they are, it's like they can talk to each other really fast, even if they're in different places. So it gives a little explanation, sort of in a style of speaking to a young person, a 10-year-old child. You can make it simple. You can even make it speak as a Shakespearean tone. You can say, rewrite in the style of Shakespeare. Yeah. Go ahead, Kansi.
Will it generate the same response if 2%?
Okay, I go to questions. Will it generate the same response if 2% ask the same question? No, different. Even if you ask the same question 2 times, a different response. Because remember, I said just now, it is a probabilistic system. It's not based on deterministic, meaning it's not 1 + 1 = 2. It is like 1 + 1 can be something else. It can be anything, depending on probability. So you can rewrite it in, look at this. He rewrote this in the style of Shakespeare. Hark, let me regale thee with a tale of wondrous machines known as quantum computers. Like unto a magical marvel, they doth harness the principles of quantum mechanics to process and store information. That's my Shakespearean tone. So you can actually have fun making it speak in different tones and styles. Even singing, you can even make it sing. You can write a song for it. Let's say you say write a song. We call that a verse. Write a verse or the above. We'll sing it. Here it goes. It's still in Shakespearean style, so it's singing Shakespearean. In the lands of quantum, secrets lie untold, where machines of marvel their powers unfold. Qubits dance in states both strange and rare, superpositions realm where wonders fare. Wow. How did you get that? I think some people will use this to write love letters to their loved ones, or write documents. So this is what you can do with ChatGPT 3.5, just a quick overview. Of course, you can approach it with prompt engineering. I want to quickly just pop over to version 4 and show you, if possible, some of the things. So in version 4, you have the default, the browse with the web and with plugins. With plugins, you have a number of plugins. Let me show you the plugins that are available. The plugin list is a little bit slow, but let's see, we can get it. There you go. There are 70 over plugins in ChatGPT 4. You have to pay $20 per month to be to my member to get access to this. I think it's worth it if you use it for your work, or you use it to make money. Then I think you should pay for the $20. It's a little bit steep, but it's worth it. Okay, there are 70 odd plugins. We don't have time to cover all of them, or even a portion of them. We'll cover a few in the 2-day class. But I want to show you, first of all, the web access. So I will choose web access first, the one with web access. And then let's see whether it can do this. It's going to be a little bit slow, so bear with me. The web access portion. So I'm saying going to act as a Malaysian journalist. Then I'm going to ask it, using only Malaysian newspapers, list the top 5 stories for today. Okay, go. Okay, it's going to take some time, so I will look at the questions that you asked. Any questions? Can you read the question to me?
What is the limitation of ChatGPT? Which area?
Okay, what is the limitation of ChatGPT? I'm not too sure what you mean by limitation. Because remember, I said the input data to ChatGPT is all the web up to 2021. So all the web means all areas. There's no area that's excluded unless the area is not on the web. Then yes, it's excluded. Anything that is on the web is in the large language model itself. But please note, this is a general model, because there are specific models used for medical, used for teaching, used for research. There are other models. This ChatGPT 3.5 and 4.0 are general models for public use. So it has no, I wouldn't say there's limitation for in terms of the area. Okay, still working. So what's the next question?
Why does the government never produce national AI framework to control and manage AI development?
Okay, I'll read it. Why does the government never produce national AI framework to control and manage AI development? Actually, Malaysia does have a AI program. Actually, it was on my slide. I removed it last night because I thought it was not that important. But yes, Malaysia does have an AI strategy. Please Google Malaysia AI strategy. They do have one. It's not specific for AI. I think it covers other areas of AI, not just ChatGPT. I think when they wrote it down, ChatGPT didn't exist. Remember, ChatGPT's existence, as it were, only came about from December 2022. So it's only about 4 or 5 months old. Anything older than 5 months ago, I would not have seen what happened over the last few months. So yes, Malaysia does have one, Singapore has one, the US has one. Another question, is there a group support after the training? Not at the moment, but you can send an email to MIM. I think when we do set up a group, maybe, or you come and attend the training, then we can start from there to support. We will start that again, I think probably after we start the training. Yeah. Other questions?
What do you think the knowledge source used by ChatGPT is, and how does it affect the accuracy of ChatGPT responses? Or why that the responses would be 100% correct?
Okay, the knowledge source, as I mentioned, is the whole web, but they didn't throw the web themselves. They went to specialized companies to suck the data from the web. One of the main companies called C4. You can Google this C4, Charlie 4, the letter C4. Is a colossal collection of web data, something called C4. And this C4 is one of the input data that is fed to ChatGPT. So it's everything on the web collected by this company. If you want to find out a bit more, you can attend the 2-day class, and we'll discuss that more, and we'll see more the details. Can I see the question again?
Okay.
Yes.
The
yeah. Okay. How does it affect the accuracy of ChatGPT? The accuracy, it depends upon what was it fed. Number one, what was it fed? And number two, what was it trained on? You saw just now the SFT, the training, and also the RLHF training, and also is strongly affected by your prompt, the way you ask the question is affected by the English words you use. You have to use the English words clearly. If you use the wrong word, you get the wrong answer. You have to speak to it as an expert language person, because unfortunately it is a language model. It responds to language, and therefore the language affects the accuracy. Again, we can increase the accuracy by prompting techniques. There are prompting techniques, and also you need to improve your English language. Like, for example, the use of a thesaurus to find similar words of having the same different meaning or same meaning. Okay, the answer came back. If you can share my screen. The answer came back from, it takes a bit of a while because it go up. You notice that when I click down, it actually did a lot of work. It went out, it went to check on some of the sites on the star, and then he went to read. That's why it took so long. He went all to do all these things, and then he came back and he says, here are the top stories I found from the Malaysian newspapers, Malaysia Kini and Sun Daily. From Malaysian Kini, he picked 5. From the Sun Daily, he picked 5. Is it true? You checked today? Is it true you're talking about J-Lo today? And one Saifu flies to strike out against Jana Vibaya, whoever that is, corruption charges. Hey, I'm not involved in this. Tiada Guru wants government protection for whistleblower. MAHB expects 31,600 travelers for Hajj. J-Lo is not in Macau, as reported yesterday, but in Shanghai. And claims billion whale otter, I don't know what that is. Call for, so this, what it does, it actually gone out to do the web, so it was shown web access. It can also, ChatGPT can also read PDFs. In fact, if I start a new chat, go ChatGPT, I need to activate a plugin. The plugin is called Ask Your PDF. So I say Ask Your PDF, and then what I do is I actually went to the Ask Your PDF website, uploaded my PDF file, and then I started to ask questions from it. Now I think we are running short on time, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what I did last night with the PDF. If not wrong, this is the PDF one. Yes, this is the PDF one. I fed it you see the top portion. I fed it the TLDR means to summarize. It means too long, didn't read. TLDR, and then the document which was uploaded to the site. Then after a while, it goes glog, 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 glog. It works, and then it summarized the document out. The document is a technical document on chain of thought prompting. So it did a summary. Then I asked, can you provide some examples of chain of thought, COT prompting? So again, you went and then it came up with some examples. So it actually came out with, what you can do is you can feed ChatGPT documents with information, and then you can make questions to the document. You can talk to the document. You can actually ask questions and it will answer back to you. You can do the same thing with video. You can actually ask it to summarize a video. Last night, I asked it to summarize a video. I picked up on one video last night. Let me see if I can show you the video. Oops, okay, I think I removed it. Yeah. Okay, you can actually go to YouTube and then click the share and then copy the link. And then what you do is you paste the link into ChatGPT and you ask ChatGPT to summarize the video. So this is what I did last night. I copied the link to YouTube. This is a YouTube link. And then ask it to summarize the video. And that's what he did. He summarized the video. It was about 3-minute video and he summarized it. So I asked it to summarize another video and this is the summary. So you can using a plugin. That means you need to have the plugin. This means that you need to have access to GPT 4.0 and then you need to experiment with it to feed it your documents. You can also use ChatGPT to create images. It doesn't create images directly, but it can create the prompts for you to use in the image generation software. I suggest you use either Midjourney, which I use Midjourney, or you use DALL-E. DALL-E is D-A-L-L-E. DALL-E is actually also from OpenAI, or you can use Midjourney. I think Midjourney is more popular. What you do is you ask ChatGPT to create the prompts for you, and then you use those prompts in the Midjourney or in DALL-E to create the images. So this is the end of the talk for this afternoon. I will look at your questions. I'll try to answer questions for the last couple of minutes. Is there any other questions?
Is prompt engineering a must skill set for nowadays youngsters?
I would answer definitely yes. Definitely you need to know a little bit about prompt engineering because you have a whole work life ahead of you. I am past retirement actually, but you have 40 years of work, and the next 2 or 3 years when you see major changes in AI, and specifically when they release ChatGPT 5 next year, there's going to be another major change. So I suggest you learn about AI because it will help you avoid instances of like those cases that I mentioned, Samsung and in the lawyer issues. So you will definitely use AI, you use ChatGPT, just learn how to use it properly. Learn prompt engineering. So definitely yes. Any other questions?
Can ChatGPT help in thesis writing with reference?
Yes, ChatGPT can help. The keyword is help. Help. You don't let it write it for you. It can help you write the thesis and with references. Yes, it can provide references. Just ask it, say, please provide references. But remember, evaluative judgment. You have to check the references because sometimes it can hallucinate. Hallucination is one of its qualities, as it were. ChatGPT can make up information that doesn't exist. If you ask it questions and it doesn't have sort of the data, sometimes it makes up the data. This we call hallucination. You can try to avoid or mitigate some of the risk of hallucination by using prompting techniques. There are certain prompting techniques to minimize the risk of hallucination. If you attend the 2-day class, on the second day, the advanced version in the afternoon, we will discuss ways to avoid or minimize hallucination. Yes?
Bella Adis asked if you could give like a short opinion on this article, how to detect if content was created by ChatGPT and other AIs.
Okay, if content can be created by ChatGPT, one of the cutest way I heard was they take the content and feed it to ChatGPT itself and ask, did you write this? So, okay, the short answer is no. The ChatGPT has gotten, especially version 4 and probably version 5 or 4.2 and 5, you cannot tell. In the past, they had some software that can try to read the text and try to determine the probability that it was created by ChatGPT. There is a case, actually, I have in mind last week, a professor actually in a university, I think in the US, he thought that they used ChatGPT to write their answers, their exam. He failed all of them. It turns out they didn't. They did not use ChatGPT. So the point is you don't know. At this point in time, unfortunately, as the AI improves, the quality is so good you can't tell. Even another AI cannot tell.
How close are we to AI being regulated and to what extent?
Okay, regulation and to what extent? I think very far because people cannot agree. But everybody wants regulations. Even ChatGPT CEO Sam Altman went to speak to Congress 2 weeks ago. He wants regulation for AI because he recognizes the danger. So everybody wants regulation, but they're going to start arguing about what sort of regulation, how do you control, how do you define what is plagiarism, how do you define what is copyright, how do you do that? Because remember, the text that goes into ChatGPT is just words. The words are all just around. It's like a super brain, and this brain churns out words. It's like you. Let's say you read a book, you can memorize every single word, and after you've read the book, then you start to speak. When you speak, you can sort of recite the whole chapter. Is this plagiarism? Is this copyright violation? I don't know. This is a question we cannot answer today. We are not sure. The answers are not clear at this time, but I believe everybody wants an answer. They will work hard to get it. It will probably take some time. Yes. Any other people?
One earlier demo asking ChatGPT at plugins to list 5 top Malaysian news. Today, will I get the answer if I use ChatGPT 3.0?
No. I suggest, I'm not too sure the question, to list 5 main top Malaysian news today. Oh, today, no, cannot. 3 cannot. If you say today, ChatGPT 3 cannot function today because it has no access to the internet. Only GPT 4.0 has access to the internet. You need to activate the web access and then ask the question, news for today, because it doesn't understand the word today, and you will hallucinate. 3.5 will hallucinate and give you some news. It's from 2021. Yes. Okay, any other questions?
Yeah, okay, you can ask for the last question.
Okay, one last question. Anybody want last question?
Okay, there was a question about HR. How can ChatGPT help human resource industry?
Okay, how can the ChatGPT help the human resource industry? I think I have to sit down and think through what do you do day to day. You write emails, then you can write. You screen people coming in, that you can do. That means you can feed it people's resume and ask it for a summary, for example. You can feed it the summary and ask for whether this person is suitable for a particular post or particular task. This is just, I'm thinking off my head, but if I sit down and think about it, I probably can think HR, a lot of the tasks can be replaced by AI, by some form of artificial intelligence. If it involves words, it involves inputting words and creating or getting words, ChatGPT can replace that particular task, not the person, but the task. Thank you for your time this afternoon. I hope you got something out of it. If you have any questions, you can ask me through LinkedIn or through MIM. Thank you.